Good morning, and we're broadcasting today from St. Vladimir Seminary. The first time I came here, St. Vladimir's was in Tuckahoe. Later it was in Crestwood, and now it's technically in someplace else because of the change in postal districts. So we're going to continue today with our discussion of theology made simple. And we'll do our best. I'm not going to make guarantees. But we talked yesterday about the nature of sin a little, because we were talking about redemption and salvation. And we mentioned sin being the misuse of our energies. So today we're going to discuss one of the most common words in Orthodox theology, energy, and try to explain exactly what we mean by energies and the misuse of our energies. And I think all of you, if you stop to think for a moment, how often you use the word energy. Now, since most of you will be reading an English translation of the scripture, you won't realize that Apostle Paul uses the word energy about 26 times in his epistles. So it's a very common word in scripture as well, although it's been translated out for the most part in the German and English translations. And Paul talks about energy as being an active force within a person. Many of you will say, well, I don't have the energy I used to have now that I'm older, or I've learned to conserve my energies, or my son has far too much energy. And you talk about energy savings, and we wonder, what are we talking about when we talk about the uncreated energy of God as being what divine grace really is? Or we talk about the use or misuse of our own energies as being the difference between sin and something that isn't. And when we try to define energy, we can't actually define it. The great physicist Richard Feynman once said that we talk about energy a great deal in physics, but none of us know what it actually is. And this is a case, but when we think about it, we can kind of understand. Energy in both Orthodox theology and in physics is about relationships. And energy communicates something, and it conveys a relationship between people, but it communicates. You think of it for a moment as an electric light bulb. The energy is electricity, and the electricity comes into relationship with the light bulb when you turn the switch on, and it conveys heat to the elements of the light bulb, and the heat gives the light. So God is conveying energy to us. It comes into a relationship with us. We come into a relationship with God through this energy, and He comes into a direct relationship with us through this energy, and it imparts something to us. And let's say we're the light bulb. It imparts the heat of divine grace to us, and then we become illumined with knowledge and understanding about God through His energy. Now, when we interrelate with somebody else, we're also using our energies. And some of you will have heard someone say, oh, he has such negative energy. Or when she walks into the room, she just sucks the energy out of everyone. So we understand in a practical way what this energy is. But energy is some real aspect of our emotions, of our moods, of what makes it possible for us to function. I mean, the technical definition is that energy is the capacity for work in any given organism, the capacity to actually do something, and our capacity to communicate feelings, emotions, what's going on inside of ourselves. This is all our energy. And when we misuse our energies, we're using them in a negative way to either hurt somebody or do something hurtful, or we're using our energy in a positive way to help someone or do something positive. And the misuse of our energies is always motivated by our passions. Our passions are strong within us, and we feel them. Sometimes they're very painful, and sometimes we fulfill the passion in a sinful way just because it makes us so bitter, because it's painful within us. And so our energy is then the capacity that we have to actually reach out, to actually do something, to actually project something of ourselves outward. So we use our energies in a negative way. For example, when we're angry, we could use our energies to forgive somebody and make up with them. or we can use our energies to develop our anger into malice and try to do something evil to the person. So you have to really think and contemplate about it a little, but really, you see, it's not so complicated or so distant. It's something that's in our daily experience. We can think about the use of our energies, and we can think about the way that we use those energies in a negative or a positive way. And when we convey our energy in a negative or positive way, when we convey anger, we're conveying our energies. When we convey love, we're conveying our energies. So in establishing our relationship with other human beings. And Christ has already defined this for us in a way that we should love the Lord our God with all our being and love our neighbor as ourselves. These are proper uses of our energies. And so Christ has shown us the basic, what's fundamental about using our energies. If somebody asked me what's a rule of thumb to know what's sin and what's not sin, if what you're doing is unselfish, there's a good chance it's not sin. If it's egoistic and selfish, then it's absolutely sin, even if it's something that seems to be positive or good. If it's egotistic and self-centered, self-loving and selfish, then it's sin no matter what. Because selfishness, egotism, these are all energies, the use of our energies. And love is the use of our energy. And unselfish love is one of the greatest uses of our energies. So I hope that will answer the question a little for you, and at least give you something to think about, so that you understand that when we use the term energies, we're not talking about some metaphysical abstraction. We're talking about something that's imminent to our own daily life, and that we can understand if we simply think about the way we react in our daily lives.